Hello, and welcome. Welcome home. Because as they say, home is where the fools are.
Daddy's
And
home.
where are my fools at?
Home.
Fools at
Home.
home. Fools on a
Yanni,
home.
Callum, how are we?
I'm good, thank you, Liam. How are
Good.
you?
I've
I'm good,
enjoyed the
thank you.
past 5 minutes waiting for you to start.
Diva on I.
To be fair, this has got to be the best intro you've ever done, because normally you take at least 4 goes to not feel self-conscious.
No, I feel very self-conscious. I'm glad I can't see myself. That's helping at the moment.
Wow.
This is my album of
Look
the
at
year,
you.
2022. We excited, boys?
I have not stopped thinking about it all day, partly because you've not stopped reminding us that you've not been able to pick your 10.
Yeah, it's been very last minute. Up until just before we started, I had a good look through just to make sure this was correct, because I'm still not convinced. But
Well, that was going to be my question. Are you happy?
In life.
I think it's such a tight year this year. I think the top 5 are very tight, and past that as well, it's all kind of there's a few past the 10 that could have fit in very easily. So it's been a tricky one.
Yeah.
I was talking to Yanni. I've tried to kind of break down exactly what my decision-making process is in terms of quality of product versus enjoyment, and they're not necessarily linked all the time. And
I have just spilt some of my drink while I've been waiting.
That's great. Brilliant. Yanni, what are you drinking? I want to.
Well, I'm not
I wanna
anymore.
know how it is.
I pissed it all over the fucking desk.
I want you to tell me what it's like.
It's cherry recordally.
And is it nice?
Yeah, there's not much cherry.
We'll take it as a
going on.
no.
How does it compare to Old Moot?
Meep. Is there a cherry version of that?
Berries and cherries. You've never had berries
Oh
and cherries?
yeah, berries and
Yeah,
cherries.
but that's berries and
That's
cherries.
berries and cherries.
Well, come on.
Get your berries and cherries together. I think Moot
Right.
is better.
You think which is better, sorry?
Moot.
Moot.
From moots to menches, I'll start off my Oni menches. First off, hang on, I feel like I need to wake up. First
Please do.
honourable mention of 2022 for me is Stella Donnelly with her album, her sophomore album, Flood. Wonderful album with many beautiful melodies throughout, some very well written songs. And I've enjoyed every time I've listened to it. Unfortunately, I've not listened to it enough, which is completely my own fault. And there are a few too many slow ones throughout the album. So for those reasons, I'm out.
It's out.
But I think it was definitely contention for number 10, so with an honourable mention. And second in the same boat there, Yanni, what are you holding?
Is wet Matt.
We met Matt.
Is Wet Matt. Wet Legs, sophomore album, Wet Matt, coming in 2023. Fingers crossed. And my second honourable mention is Stump Work by Dry Cleaning.
Wow.
A solid sophomore album, I think. Every time I listen to it, I enjoy it. I feel like I always find something new. I definitely think they managed to improve at least a little bit on every aspect since the debut album. But again, just didn't get enough listening time in on that one.
I was convinced that would have cracked your top 10.
It was close. Honestly, I think that was the closest to making it that didn't make it.
So
That's the number
honourably
11.
close.
That's the honourable number 11.
What a title.
But the real deal, guys, the real deal.
That's what we're here for.
The top 10.
Yeah.
Number 10, I have Everything with Raw Data Feel.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Already with the wows, this is exciting stuff. You get me so excited. I think it was very exciting to kind of get an album from everything that I enjoyed so much since their first. Let me finish the sentence. Since their first album, big fan of the first album. Didn't really click with a full album past that. But
Silly boy.
But this one did it for me. To be honest, I wasn't so sure on the inclusion of this one as kind of similar point to the other one. I haven't listened to this one much. But for this one, when I sat and looked at this track list, I just couldn't kind of get past how good the track list is. There's so many bangers. Start out the gate with banger after banger after banger after banger. I think the first 4 songs is solid.
So much banger.
And I think it's I
Kobe.
say, even though I've not listened to it as much as I wish I had, it's undeniably a very solid album.
Some would say it's a 10 out of 10.
Some would say that. I said it was an 8 out of 10 because I'm not an idiot like Callum. I've actually got all the scores I've got next to them, if you're interested. Anyway.
I am interested, Liam.
Yeah, I gave that one an 8. 8 out of 10. Fave tracks probably Metroland's Burning, Shark Week, and obviously Teletype, and those like first 4 songs.
Obviously, yeah.
Wunderbar. But yeah, that's number 10.
Just before you move on, is Jennifer the 5th song? Because I'm upset that you've not included that twice.
I think
Yeah.
it's after
No,
Pizza
so-
Boy, isn't it?
I do very much like Jennifer.
Oh.
I think I said the first 4 are banger after banger because
Oh, I
Jennifer
suppose
isn't
it's not really
necessarily
a
a banger.
Oh,
Yeah,
got you.
but I definitely do like Jennifer. I think Jennifer is 5th. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
We have Alex G, formerly Sandy, no longer. He's had a good dust off. With God Save the Animals.
God Save the Queen.
No. This
She's dead.
album, she is dead. 6 feet under. Or I guess she's probably above the ground in like a box, but she's hopefully tightly packed. God Save the Animals, best of all worlds for Alex G, I think, really. Very well considered and much less many less throwaway tracks than previous albums. I feel like it's a very good full piece of album. The first track, After All, really sets up the album in terms of kind of a mix of the genres, which I'll get into a bit further along. And then the second song, into one of my favourite songs of the year, Runner, which I do think is a truly wonderful song. Not really anything I would change or could fault about this song. Some peak Alex G vocals, the melody is incredible.
It's not long enough.
It's not long enough, it's too short. It is too short. And it's just a very, very well crafted song, very well considered again. I think that's one of the biggest departures from previous albums for Alex here is that it just feels like things are a bit more thought out and considered is the word I used again. Next is the Brooding, is the word I used here. Mission.
Brooding.
Which is another top track from the album. And then we go into the Stranger Side, where Alex explores some autotune and some break beats. Yeah, I said it.
Yo.
I definitely think this album in particular showcases that style the best that Alex has ever done, if that makes sense. He melds it beautifully. I didn't write beautifully, I wrote wonderfully. I'm going to go back to wonderfully. With the kind of slow acoustic stuff, which is shown very well on songs like No Bitterness. Top song other than Runner have to be Miracles. That is a beautiful, beautiful song. Gorgeous, I wrote here.
Thesaurus, you lad.
And yeah, I feel like it's an album that I discover something new every time I listen to it. It's very good album. That's number 9. Any thoughts?
You know when you're in primary school and they tell you don't just read from the PowerPoint?
Yeah. Well, it's all, I only wrote these just before, so I kind of haven't had a chance to digest what. This was all train of thought. I'm trying to digest it right now. And I'm not actually, so shut your mouth. I'll send you the notes afterwards. You can check. I gave that one.
Please don't put me to that.
Yanni.
I'm swapping beautifully for wonderfully and things like that. You not notice that?
But also telling us when you're doing it.
I can't work from like bullet point notes. I have to kind of write a script just so I can get back to where I need to be, and that's
Wow.
the way, pretty much.
Speaking of back to where you need to be, what's the next one?
The next one, number 8, is Fontaines DC with Skinty Fear. Gave this a 7, just if you're wondering. This one's definitely a grower. Callum, you got a question?
I have.
Go on.
So Everything scored an 8, and that's in at number 10. And
Well,
Skinty
yeah.
Fear scored
And
a
also
7.
Alex G I gave an 8 as well, just to let you know.
Okay.
But did you hear the first line I said about Fontaines DC?
No, because I was.
You had your hand up,
Rushing
you
Busy in
weren't
his
paying
own thought.
attention. Yeah, you
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
paying attention.
No,
you
I didn't.
were, yeah. No.
I didn't. No.
I said it's definitely a grower,
Okay.
which would imply that since that score is, it's got a bit better in my mind.
Okay.
So that is the case. It was definitely catalysed by seeing them at Primavera. I believe someone else may say that in the future. I actually think the opener is one of the weakest songs on the album.
You
It's going to
bitch!
upset. It's going to upset
You-
you, Yanni.
But I might say that's one of the best.
You may. We'll find out next week.
We will.
But I do think it sets the mood very well for what's to come.
Mid.
Sorry.
Mid.
Carry on. The mid. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. I definitely think this album shows an improvement in songwriting. In terms of the actual songs themselves, lyrics, and the individual instrument parts. Over the last two albums, definitely the most cohesive album. They're definitely a band that when they get it right, they get it right. And there's a lot more of that on this album than previous albums. It feels like they stuck the neck out a bit more on this one.
It's so stupid.
Do you know what? For both of yours, spoilers, we've already recorded Yanni's. For
both
of yours.
Whoa! Hang on a minute.
Silent respect. However, whenever I
speak,
silent, you both feel like you have to entertain yourselves. Listen to my words.
We do have to entertain ourselves.
Oh, God. Definitely feel some grit. Real grit throughout is what I've written there. No expansion on that point. Top tracks, Jockey Down the Line, Roman Holiday, I Love You. And
I love you too.
And the explosive closer, Nabokov. Doesn't help when I've written this as a script and you both keep interrupting. It really throws off what's going on here. If you just listen, it sounds good. And, the further along we get, the worse this is going to be.
I'm counting on it.
Number 7.
Oh, blimey, only number 7.
Yeah, it's taking so long already. We have our Dutch friends, personal trainer.
This high up?
The slow down, I think you.
Low down.
I'd say it.
Yeah.
Low down.
Personal trainer with Big Love Blanket. I gave this a 9, if you're interested. I'm already, I am walking a well-trodden path here, but the opener of Big Love Blanket into the Laser, I think should be stored in a time capsule to teach the future generations of musicians how to kickstart an album. It's like when you listen to it, it's very simple, really. What happens? It just goes from one song into the other. But the propulsion from that is nothing short of amazing, really. And the fact that's very much maintained throughout the Laser, and this re-record of that song, really does. I don't know. I've thrown myself all off here. It's very much maintained throughout the Laser, and this re-record of the track does it great justice, and really helps that as well. Very fun, enjoyable album throughout. Even some of the slower ones like Milk build into something more that gets the head bobbing. Top tracks for me: Cut Loose, and the solid closer Valsberg Hero, and of course the massive Former Puppy. Huge. I do really wish I'd listened to this more, really, since it's been out. I think it possibly could have pushed itself up a bit, but I just haven't listened to it enough.
Silly prick.
But very respectable number 7.
7.
Number 6. What did you get at Christmas? 6 Geese a Laying.
Don't know.
Yeah, completely irrelevant. Number 6, the Orielles with Tableau, which I also gave an 8 out of 10. This one's probably so high up because I've listened to it so much. It's kind of the opposite of Personal Trainer. Maybe these two would have been the two that swapped if my habits were different. But I've listened to this album quite a lot, which says a lot because it is a behemoth of an album. It's a big commitment to get through, but I always feel very glad that I do. It's a wash over you kind of album. I know I said this when we covered it on the normal podcast, but it's full of great melodies and hooks on all instruments and vocals that kind of keep you going. I often find myself getting lost in the sounds, but then
lost in music,
and then there'll be oh god, my headphones are gone. Then there'll be a change in the song that kind of snaps you back in a great way that almost feels like they've been crafted with that in mind, which I think is very interesting. A lot of peaks and valleys throughout in terms of tempo and mood and other stuff that keeps you kind of chugging along for the full hour. It doesn't really ever seem to drag for me when I listen to it. top tracks, probably I've put loads of tracks here, but I'm going to put Television, Darkened Corners, On Fleur, Remembered, The Room, and of course Beams. Incredible song, one of my favourite songs of the year. That side C of the record, which is Beams, then it's Too Often to Erase, and The Room, is one of the best single sides of vinyl I think you can find. Wonderful. Sadly, it ends with a spoken word track, which you may know my thoughts on spoken word tracks, but it's not too bad, and the music is very nice, so it's not the end of the world. But that's the Orielles at number 6.
Lovely.
Whoa.
Now, number 5.
Heavy
Top
hitters
5.
now.
It gets heavy now. Let me tell you right now, it gets heavy straight away. Top 5. Number 5, TV Priest with My Other People. Okay, this is 8 out of 10 originally. Best way I'm reading this, so don't interrupt me. Best way I could think to describe this album is 3 words: raw, emotional, powerful. That sounds all well and good as it is, but I don't think it really does encompass the range of each of those aspects. You've got the rawness of the lyrics and the vocals, and then you have obviously the raw sounding instruments that somehow sound like if steel was part of nature. Trees that made of steel blowing in the Amazon. I know they blow. The emotions of anger and acceptance, lethargy, and love. You know, those comparative emotions throughout the
Do
tracks.
you mean left phalange?
Left phalange?
Yeah, left phalange.
No, lethargy.
I wasn't expecting a Friends reference to pop up from Yanni.
I didn't get that, so that was completely lost on me. And then in terms of power, you've got the power of the words, you know, pen mightier than the sword, blah, 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 I feel like I'm doing GCSE. And the uncontrollable power of the instruments shown through songs like Unraveling, which is very aptly named because it seems to unravel at the end. And then in a completely different manner, with the beautiful closer, Sunland. I think it's an incredible album. Favourite track and one of the tracks of the year is Bury Me in My Shoes, which I'm sure I've talked about a lot.
Slapper!
Every time I listen to it, just gets me, you know?
We need a soundboard, don't we? Sorry to interrupt you. We need a soundboard.
We do. Someone needs to get a soundboard.
Yanni, I'll leave that with you.
Do you think maybe we just need a guy? A soundboard guy.
Yanni just says what we want.
I'll ask around. No, he's got a soundboard, but he doesn't say anything else. He sits there and waits. Okay. I'm emotionally drained.
That was beautiful, though.
Thank you. It gets worse.
Okay.
Number 4. We have Black Country New Road with Ants From Up There, which I gave a 9 out of 10 originally. After a somewhat disappointing debut album, I really feel like Black Country New Road had they felt like they were coming back to prove a point, and I think that point was very well and truly proven with this album. It's one that I've always known is going to be on the list from the second we covered it. It was going to be there somewhere. I think it's objectively one of the best albums of the year, possibly decade, possibly ever. I think you could argue if you were to be subjective about it, objectively. I think you could argue objectively again that this should be number 1 because it's I can't. It's an incredible album. But obviously, you know, subjectivity gets involved here right now. I think the biggest downfall.
Turn the page, Liam.
Yeah.
The biggest downfall for me is that it came out too early in the year. So it just kind of loses that recency bias, which is present further on this list. That and its kind of monumentality, which makes it hard to have a casual listen to. You know, you kind of have to really sit down and try and absorb it all at once. But incredible album. I think it feels like you could take any few seconds from this album, use it to score a scene in a movie, and it would work. Every single second of it feels so well crafted and considered. I think I'm going to use these words. It's an absolute masterclass in songwriting from the whole band. I'm almost glad that Isaac left, and there was a switch up, because I don't think they could have beaten it as they were. So, you know, hopefully with him gone, they don't have to feel like they have to beat this, because monumental. As I said, it's incredible. Highlight of Good Will Hunting and The Place Where I Inserted the Blade, but it doesn't feel like a singles album. It's a single entity, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Nice.
Top 3, boys. Here we go. Number 3, we have Wunderhorse with Cub. Now, very late to the party on this album, but I'm very glad that I found it when it did. It's one of those rare records that just clicked the first time round. I was walking the dog. It was dark. It was snowy, and it was perfect at that moment. It definitely benefits from being a recent discovery. Obviously, that just kind of does happen. But I very much think it deserves this spot on the list. As opposed to some of the other albums I've covered already, this is a bit less kind of objectively appreciating the art, and more so just kind of I just enjoy listening to it. Really, that doesn't mean it isn't brilliant. I think the vocals stand out throughout. Incredible vocals. The guitar tones are brilliant. Full of really good pop songs, I think. Disguised as they are. Songs like Leader of the Pack, for example. Callum loves that one. Again, it's all very well crafted. The production, top notch. A bunch of influences and similarities that can be kind of pulled into the discussion, but it doesn't feel worth doing that at all because it all feels very fresh and new and distinct. And there's, you've got that great kind of manufactured nostalgia on some tracks like Purple or 17. I've written here, I don't feel like my own notes justify this album's spot here, but this is a feeling. This is a feeling, this one.
When you know.
Nope, Callum. It's number 3. Top tracks, Purple, Leader of the Pack, and Girl Behind the Glass. Oh, sorry, you're agreeing with me there. I felt like
when you know. If you think it's your third favorite album of the year, then it's your third favorite album of the year.
Yeah, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there,
it's not there.
There's a Pope shit in the woods, or
the Bears run the Catholic Church. So that's number 3. Now we're down to the top 2.
Well, I'm gonna just stop you there, Liam.
Please.
I don't want to know.
And that's all we have time for tonight. No, there's 3 albums that I was convinced were going to be on your top 10. And there's only 2 spots left, and one of them hasn't been an honourable mention. So, not to...
I've no idea what the third one's
Not to spread sheer panic.
I'm genuinely concerned here.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it after you've revealed your top 2. So if you can kindly carry on.
Maybe you're just off. The next 2 both got 10 out of 10 from me. Spoilers. I might as well just get that over and done with.
I've got a feeling I know what's going to happen because I think it happened on last year's one.
Yeah.
Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't.
Controversy.
Well, we'll find out. Number 2 is the inimitable. That was off the dome. Gang of Youths with Angel and Realtime.
Yeah, he's got to be different, hasn't he?
I've got my reason.
What was that word you just said?
Inimitable. Inimitable. Can't be imitated, I'm guessing it means. I might have made it up. It sounds right.
Inimitable.
You just check that. I'm going to carry on.
Inimitable.
I feel like there's not much really to add after Callum's lovely review last week. And also when we covered it on the main app. But also feel like there's like an infinite amount of things that can be said about this record, so I'll try and add a few.
He's made this word up.
Inimitable. Inimitable.
Well, it wouldn't be if you're imitating, would you? Be imin.
No.
No. Imitable.
In is in not.
Yeah.
No, in. Right. I'm no longer having this discussion. Let me carry on reading the notes.
Inimitable.
Inimitable. Yeah, there we go. It was a double letter controversy that was going on here.
Have you confirmed that's a real word now?
I have confirmed. Thank you, Liam.
Thank you so much.
Wait.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Right, let me carry on.
Are you still going?
I'm still going. I've got so much to say. Its placement as second is partly down to number of listens. Partly. something that this album restricts slightly itself, with it being such a Goliath of an album in both length and breadth. But every listen, stop laughing. I need to turn you off.
I'm not laughing. I smiled because that was a great word.
Yeah. What breadth?
Yeah, it's just.
Yanni, do you want to check that one?
Just wasn't expecting.
breadth?
I know it's a word. I just wasn't.
Thank you.
Fucking hell.
But despite that, every listen through feels very rewarding. It feels, again, I'm quoting myself here. I hate this. It feels like eavesdropping on someone writing and practicing a eulogy for a god. That's how it feels to me.
Or an angel.
Or an angel, maybe.
In real time.
We got there. There's so much space between every single note, whilst also being incredibly, extremely lush.
Incredibly, extremely.
I wrote
lush.
extremely and said incredibly. I'm just freestyling it. Orthodome. Incredible production, which really lends itself to that aspect of creating space where there isn't any. Dave's vocals, obviously stunning throughout, as the great Count Davis once said, I would let him sit on my face and shit, or something like that, along those lines.
Yeah.
I would.
Word for word.
Stand by that.
Lyrics are equally stunning. Tears are had often on re-listen. The intimacy of the storytelling, whilst also feeling like you're sitting, listening to someone tell stories around a campfire, I think really make this kind of album one for the ages in terms of storytelling and songwriting. Hand of God into Goal of the Century is one of the best ways to close an album ever. I've written that. That's a bullet point. Favourite song is Tend the Garden, which is a perfect song, and I will not hear any arguments against that. And it's just an unbelievable album. Unbelievable album. Number 2, best album of the year. Can't get used. Now, guys.
Just the way you said that. It's funny. But I listened to the album today, and oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. I've really enjoyed listening back through all these albums to do this. It's a fun time of the year. Number 1, though, guys, we have one of the greatest debuts of all time. That's right. It's the 25th anniversary reissue of Third Eye Blind by Third Eye Blind. Yeah. Number 1 album of 2022. Number 1 album of every year since 1997, baby.
Yeah, baby.
We got there. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Third Eye Blind Supremacy. No, that's not. That's not true. Number 1 album of the year, according to moi, is actually Courting's debut album, Guitar Music, which I also think is one of the greatest debuts of all time. Simple. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. No, it's not. I've got more. As Callum touched on, mixing so many different genres and styles and obvious influences and creating something so brand new and future sounding is top notch on this album. This is the future of guitar music. Yeah, that was a good line. They should put that on the poster. On every single listen, I'm always in absolute awe of the fact that this is a debut album from, relatively young band who haven't really got much of a kind of backing before this in terms of musical output. They put an EP out and that's that. And they've completely thrown all convention out the window of this album, really gone balls to the wall. The admiration is very, very high in terms of the kind of risk for this album, and it really paid off. Even just the fact that it's only half an hour long is a very well considered aspect. Not a single song needed to be any longer, and I'm very glad that they stuck to their guns and didn't kind of buy into what every other band seems to be doing at the moment, making 6+ minute songs. They've really kind of nailed the pop aspect of this music, and something that would help gain a wider audience, I suppose. Whether it has or not is a different point, but the vision was there, definitely. So much energy throughout the whole album. Again, so much manufactured nostalgia on so many of the songs. I think the whole album's great, if it's not already clear, but the run of Loaded, Famous, Crass, Jumper, and then Uncanny Valley Forever is unrivaled. That is an incredible run of songs. Also very different, and yet also kind of courting. 10 out of 10 album, in my opinion, still. And it's also the number 1 album of the year.
According to Liam Hodbury.
According to me. Right, so what's now? I'll do a quick rundown?
Yes,
right?
please.
This is going to take a while because all my notes are between the album names, so I'm going to have to scroll. At number 10, we have Everything, Everything with Raw Data Feel. At number 9 is Alex G with God Save the Animals. Number 8 is Fontaines DC with Skinty Fear. Number 7 is Personal Trainer with Big Love Blanket. Number 6 is the Orielles with Tableau. Number 5 is TV Priest with My Other People. Number 4 is Black Country New Road with Ants From Up There. Is there, isn't it? Not here. Yeah, it's there. I always get confused. Number 3 is Wunderhorse with Cub. Number 2 is Gang of Views with Angel in Real Time. And number 1 album of the year, according to me, is Courting's Guitar Music.
Beautiful.
Thank you for listening.
Wonderbar.
Not to predict the future or anything, but I'm glad one of us gave Court in top spot because I think any other year I would have given Court in top spot.
I mean, I think Courting will be happy with my top spot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I assume.
I have
Possibly.
no recollection or preconception of that happening. Whatever you want to go with. So, Liam.
Yes.
Did you completely forget about Cheek Face this year, or?
No, I didn't. And yeah, to be honest, I forgot about them when I did my honourable mentions.
Okay.
I'd probably have put it as a third honourable mention. I still would have picked it over two. I very much enjoyed the Cheek Face album. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I've just not listened to it at all.
Fair enough. I can't believe here we are with Cheek Face being in my top 10 and not even an honourable mention of yours.
I really do think it's incredible. It's a great album. It's their best album so far. Very much worth a listen. There was also an album that I listened to a hell of a lot this year, which I've not included at all.
Cool.
Which is?
It's Arcade Fire album.
But
not for that reason. Not for that reason. I actually just don't think it's that great of an album, but I just listened to it a hell of a lot. So maybe it could have made it, but
Major L Butler, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some questions.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
My first question is: are we still doing these questions at the end? Haha! What a little in joke from the Skype chat. No. Anything you've grown out of this year?
Yes.
His pants.
Funny, got a burp. Excuse me. Idols, I think.
Wow.
When I've really thought about it, Idols. Despite enjoying Crawler a lot more than I did Ultramono, I haven't revisited that album at all. And I've now found myself skipping most of their songs on shuffle. Now,
that's fair.
I think a lot of that is just kind of, they're very much a sound of their own. And so sometimes if they come up on shuffle, it feels a little bit out of place anyway. But I don't know. I mean, I would happily sit and listen to Brutalism again and Joy in full, and I'd enjoy myself completely. But as a casual listener, I kind of feel like I've lost it a little bit. Drifted
towards TV Priest instead? I think you still get the kind of essence with them, but there's a bit more with it.
Yeah, there's definitely a few tracks that are kind of similar. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of scratched that itch. But like, I did really enjoy Crawler from last year. I say really enjoy. I enjoyed it. But
I do think for me that they've definitely been relegated to a singles band rather than I'm going to put Idols on. You know?
Well, apart from the albums you just mentioned, yeah, I agree.
I might cue a few, but even then I don't really listen to Joy or Brutalism anymore, despite loving them. But I just don't ever find myself in the mood for them.
I think it would just be a case of me being like, I should listen to Brutalism again, put it on, and I'd love it. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't. That doesn't really come up. And like compared to kind of how I felt about them a couple of years ago, before Ultramono, I suppose, it's definitely dwindled. That's the only one I could think of anyway. That seemed like a decent answer.
That was a bloody good answer, that, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Oh, are we doing the next question? Is anyone looking at the chat?
The next question I've got is new artists.
Okay, so we're not doing the next question. That's fine. Any new artists you have discovered this year?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Callum. I'm not prepared at all. Obviously, Wunderhorse is number 1 on that list, and that wasn't just this year. That was like the last month or few weeks or even. Very excited to kind of see what comes next from them. Where's my headphones company? And then other than Wunderhorse, Gag Salon. I think you, Callum, you mentioned Gag Salon. A Warm Douche as well. I very much enjoyed the Warm Douche's album this year. I've only discovered them this year, but they've put a few albums out over the years. But yeah, I enjoy listening to them. Fun.
Fun. Any albums you're excited for in 2023 that have been announced thus far?
Yeah, the Billy No Mates album comes out next week.
Oh, does it?
It does indeed. A new single was released for that.
I saw that. I
today.
didn't listen to it, but I saw it was released.
I just enjoy listening to music. I think it's
Fantastic voice.
Really great voice. Really great voice. As long as she nails the music aspect, it's happy days really. And she does most of the time. And the few singles that have come out so far for this album, I've enjoyed all of them. Particularly Blue Bones. What a great song. So that really. And then I'm obviously praying that the Shame album lives up to Drunk Tank Pink.
Yeah.
I just don't. They've released
Probably
a new single from that today. That's aging this recording. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm hoping it's a grower.
Okay. Any bands you hope bring something out in 2023?
Pavement are still touring. Pavement are still.
They're gonna
in a
have to
room
fucking
together.
strap down Steve and get
They've
him
said they're
to
not going.
forcefully do it.
I think it was Spiral. It was Scott. Hey, I don't know. I call him Spiral. It was Scott who said that that they're not going to. It wasn't even Malcolmus. There was an interview with Scott and Steve Malcolmus. And
On Enemy. Because that's where I saw it, and it was Steve that was
maybe
mainly
it was
saying that.
It was two of them sat on. I think it was a female reporter, and they just kind of sat like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong then, but it does definitely. Oh yeah, Scott was kind of nodding along. Maybe it was Steve who said it. So it's probably not going to happen, but fingers are still crossed. Maybe.
Nice. Hal, next question.
Yes. Most exciting artists you've discovered in 2022. I know that kind of.
We skip this every. We should just delete this question because I've.
Avoid it then. Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Any New Year's resolutions?
It's a good question. Yeah.
As if we didn't know it was coming.
I did know. I actually haven't written a note for this one. I haven't thought about it. I guess just to stop being
such a cunt.
Yeah, number one. Yeah, find new friends.
Are you going to keep the mullet growing or?
Not growing, but I'm going to keep the mullet. It's too long now. It needs cutting. But
I think you need to just shave the sides and let the top do.
No, it's
what
too.
The top's doing.
I don't know if you can see it. It goes up. It doesn't go up.
Bring back the perm or the proper afro. I say.
No, uncontrollable. No, I'm going to keep the mullet. I'm going to keep the mullet shape. It's not going to get any longer. Probably just stop being as stop being so lazy and slobbish.
I've got
in
a good
certain aspects.
Resolution for you.
Go on.
Get on top of social media. Gee whiz.
Busy guy, aren't I? I'm a busy guy.
You are a busy guy, and I appreciate everything you do. From when you don't do it.
Thank you. And you should, I hope you appreciate the amount of time it took me to write these notes for this episode. I've not written notes since probably 2020's album of the year. That was probably the last time I wrote notes.
For 2021.
It was fun though. It was fun writing stuff down.
Well, this has been the inimitable Fools on a Hill podcast. I've had that one in my brain since you struggled to say it, Yanni, but do you want to give it one more go?
No.
Go on.
No.
Okay. Well, I, for one, can't wait to hear what your top 10 are going to be next week, Yanni.
It'll be inimitable.
Oh, very good. I hope everyone who has listened has enjoyed Liam. I've enjoyed Liam.
I enjoy Liam on a daily basis.
Yeah, we all do.
You're all free to enjoy me whenever you want.
We are very blessed. Links are below. Like and subscribe. Give us a rating on Spotify. Say hello if you're, on the virtual waves. I don't know.
You're so hip and cool.
That's what the kids say.
That is what the kids say. Or if say hello if you see us, but that's going to be
unlikely.
Yeah. That's the word. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.